So I'm really happy to find that Google Photos has fixed the back button issue that I've been um, bitching about for about 6 months now on a public stage. And I'm mad that I only have screenshots of it actually doing it. I never took a video of the issue, but basically what the issue was is you would go to create a new album. So let's create a street art album. How about that? So I'm going to select those. Some cool graffiti too. And then I would go to the add button. So make sure to remember that. It's the add button there. I would go to album, click new album, and then call this street art. And then hit the check. And then so this is, I think last time I checked, this was just a few weeks ago. It's September 2017 now. When I would hit the back button, so the expected thing, it's going to do it now. It's going to do it correctly. You hit the back button and it takes me right to where I was. Before, what it would do is you would hit the back button and it would take you here. It would take you to albums, which is basically would be up the hierarchy in probably a sitemap. So I'm within an album and I go back, it takes me to all albums, which within this session that I've been working in and I'm going through all these pictures and selecting pictures to add to albums, this is not back in my flow. So they have fixed it now. Now Photos, and it looks like even Photos takes me back to where I was scrolled to, which I don't think it did that before either. If I click to albums and then click to photos, it would take me back to the top. So this is a huge improvement. Thank you, Google. I don't know if they were listening to me at all. I'm not going to take any credit for it, but I'm sure that they just realized through, maybe eating their own dog food or other user testing that was unintuitive, that back button after you created an album from your all photos to go to all albums, that didn't make any sense. So that's fixed, but I have another thing to gripe about. So remember when I said remember that plus button. So let's say I want to add this to an existing album. So I'm going to click album and I'm going to add this to fonts and signage. So I add it to fonts and signage. It gives me a notification here that it was added to the album and the ability to view the album. I would love that notification to actually be here, which would be tough if it was more than one picture, but in that lower left-hand corner, I don't really see it. Now, that's not the thing I wanted to actually gripe about. What I wanted to gripe about is that, remember again, this is the plus button. So I am remembering here that underneath the plus button is where I add to an album. Now what if I actually go into the picture, and now let's say I'm in this view. I'm just in a larger view of this thing. I'm still looking at the same thing. I'm looking at a picture. I'm looking at this particular instance of a picture. And now I want to add it to the album. Or maybe I wanted to add it to another album. Where's my plus button? Now my plus button is this, which of course is not what I want. But there is a little plus there. So when I'm not thinking, now the zoom button, now I've never accidentally clicked on that. But there is a moment that I want to click on it for a second because I'm used to the plus button. And there's that stupid little plus button. Now I have the share there. I don't have a plus button anymore. I have this more thing, and that's where I add to the album. So not only is it in a different placement within the list, it's under a different icon. So this is the same object. It's a picture. It's a different view of the picture. Either I'm viewing it in the list view or I'm viewing it in the full screen view. And now I act upon it differently, which is not good and not intuitive. So I don't know why I'm missing my plus button. I mean, maybe they thought that there were too many icons here. The basic principle that I would like to see is that these icons here should be a carbon copy. What's the fuck is under here? Download, edit, date and time, and archive. So there's still a more button. I'm like, if anybody knows why this would be different, Like here I have information, so I can put my notes on there and I can see the stuff. Like, why do I have to be in full screen view? Why can't I just select it there and get my information button and write my notes there? Why not? So please tell me if you have an idea on why this is different, if there's a reason that it would be different. For me, it seems completely arbitrary, and it seems like it is impacting the intuitiveness of this experience.